Hi everyone, good morning. You're watching Market Fatafat on ET Now. I'm Mubina Kapasi. Markets trying to recover from that losing streak, but very small gains, just 20 odd points for the Nifty. The Sensex too is gaining marginally. The Nifty Bank has finally snapped that losing streak, and how? Because it's managing to clock in a neat 290 points. As you can see on your screens, we are very smartly off the day's low. But still, for the Nifty, we stay below 11,200. But the show is, of course, all about flagging of the individual movers and shakers. And to do that, we have with us from a team of research analysts, Vivek and Varun. And very shortly, we will be joined by Mr. N.S. Pidai to talk to us about the technicals of individual stocks. So good morning to all of you gentlemen. Let's kickstart the show with Zee Entertainment. It's another pledge that the company has had to do. 10.7% of the equity to VTB Capital. They believe that the asset sale as well is difficult in the near term. There were all sorts of rumors and allegations that perhaps after this, almost all of the promoter shareholding will be pledged. So all the debt concerns are constantly being exacerbated. In fact, earlier today, we also did have Zee's managing director, Puneet Goenka, trying to allay fears over the debt overhang on the company. This is in an exclusive chat with Nikunj Dalmia. He informs that the company aims to repay outstanding debt within 3 months, much ahead of the staggered deadlines which run all the way to mid-2021. Let's continue with the countdown of movers and shakers. Shipping Corporation of India, this is something we have on our radar because of the volatility seen in the stock price. Of course, there's news as well surrounding this one with respect to privatization. But yes, Mr. Fidai joins us now on the show. Mr. Fidai, you have a buy here?
Yeah, hi. I like this stock actually. It has done very well in extreme short term, gave very good, a higher top, higher bottom. Technically, it seems to be a very good place to buy right now. And add on dips up to 36.50. Keep a stop loss around 35.50, that is 1 rupee risk. And the upside is open up to 48 and even higher. So extreme short term one can buy, and there is a good possibility that person can make 33% kind of returns in extreme short.
Okay, well, yes, Mr. Fidai does give this one a thumbs up by 36.5, add dips to 36.5, and the target is at 48 rupees. And Varun, not a day goes by for Market Fatafat where we don't flag off Yes Bank. What's the latest in the effort to, sell off a big stake in Yes Bank?
So, now all the private lender pledge shares have been sold, which was an overhang, and according to certain PE players, the business fundamentals, actually represent compelling value at Yes. So just today in a recent development, TPG, Carlyle and Farallon are apparently looking at picking up a very large strategic stake in Yes Bank. Now, it'll depend on how urgently the bank needs capital, because raising money at this price means severe dilution for existing shareholders. So it will depend upon the urgency of capital. The current ratio stands above the regulatory 8%, but just above. So, we'll have to see how and when the deal actually closes. But in the near term, a breather for the stock for sure.
Yeah, well, it's inched up above 40, stays over there. Vivek, Venki's meantime, what is it that's making you flag of this stock?
Well, Mubina, is very interesting because Venki's, if you're talking about this particular name, the stock was on a continuous losing streak, almost 7 to 8 days of losing streak. And despite the fact that, there wasn't any too much of fundamental news flow coming in, nor had, the dynamics of the company as well as, the prices of the feed itself had changed. So today what you're actually seeing is that the company is, or the stock is reversing the trend. You're seeing the stock actually trade on very high volumes. In fact, volumes when I last checked was almost twice, the typical 5-day average of the stock, and the stock is up almost 8.5%. It'll be interesting to see whether this particular uptrend can continue in today's trading session and in the days to come.
All right, 8% higher. So yes, massive up move seen over here. All right, let's talk about a brokerage view, and it's auto stocks that they have on their radar. We just had the sales numbers for the month of September that were released. Some of them were pretty decent, some of them not so much. So TVS Motors was among them, and we do have a brokerage note as well this morning. We have JP Morgan that's downgraded the stock to an underweight, and the target price as well has been cut to 304 40 rupees from 385 rupees. Now, the downgrade is not just on TVS, it's also on Hero MotoCorp, by the way. But yes, they do believe that investors should not get carried away on the entire festive cheer, and that the BS6 emission norms are potentially the biggest challenge yet for these two stocks. And it's unlikely that two-wheeler earnings are bottoming out yet. So, very cautious note, quite a negative note as well. TVS Motor down 2.4%. Okay, Mr. Fidai, NBFCs are as well on our radar because of the massive wealth erosion seen in these. PNB Housing, lots of volatility in this stock too. In fact, take a look today, it's down by 3.3%. Your view?
Well, I would say absolutely avoid if you have it exit and sell at every rise, and avoid, absolutely don't even think of buying this stock. It is already in a spiral, downward spiral. The stock is making continuous lower top, lower bottoms, and right now it is total avoid.
Okay, clear cut avoid, completely exit any positions that you have. And here's another NBFC we'd like to flag off, that's Bajaj Finance. They've given a Q2 update. Varun, what's it looking like?
So the Q2 update was really good for Bajaj Finance. Now, new loans booked in for the quarter are coming in at 6.5 million versus 5.3 million. Assets under management now stand at 1.35 lakh crore versus 98,000. So that's grown 38% YOY. Customer franchises still at 38.7 million were also up around 29% YOY. And the company's acquired 1.9 million new customers in this quarter. Now, Bajaj Finance market cap has overtaken SBI's market cap recently, and actually many other banks. So just a tremendous story, the way it's grown and, consistently reporting good numbers, and being able to grow at this rate consistently for over the last, I'd say, 1 or 2 years is just a tremendous feat. We actually flagged it off earlier this morning and seems to be responding pretty well today. But because the street expects the company to grow at this rate, there's no major uptick seen today, but it has met the street's estimates.
All right, that's Bajaj Finance for you. And remember, this is one of those few stocks that's actually managing to do well, this and FinServ. Vivek, Orindo Pharma, not such good news for one of its units.
Well, that's right, Mubina. Mubina, in fact, as early as September 20th, we at ET Now had flagged off that one of the most important units of the company, that is Unit 7, was undergoing the USFDA audit. We also told you about how it was a surprise audit and how this particular facility was audited by the USFDA last in July 2017. So almost a 2-year gap. Now, what we understand is that the USFDA has issued 7 observations in the Form 483 for the Unit 7. I went through the Form 483. Some of them are, quite stringent, and it doesn't appear as though this particular company would be able to come out of this particular observations very quickly. However, we'll have to wait and watch as to how the company responds to the USFDA and whether, how quickly it can undergo remediation measures at this particular facility. However, the stock is taking it on the chin today on the back of how important this facility is, down over 7%.
Okay. Well, let's take a quick look at the RWI small case and see what that one's up to. Is it participating with the benchmarks, when it comes to the rebound that we are seeing? Is it outperforming? Well, let's take a look. Remember, RWI small case is an innovation from the ET Now stable, and yes, it's doing pretty well. In fact, it's definitely outperforming the benchmarks, higher by a good 0.6%, creeping back above 540. Okay, quick break right here on Market Fatafat. Do come right back. Welcome back. You're watching Market Fatafat on ET Now. Let's continue with the countdown. And the days of production halts continue for not only autos but also auto ancillary names that in turn do supply to these auto companies. Bosch this time around is the victim. The stock certainly has crumbled, and how? They're going to halt production for 10 days in the third quarter. This is more bad news coming in. But remember, it's not only Bosch. Even Ashok Leyland has said that they're going to be halting production for anywhere between 2 to 15 days in the month of October. That's in fact even more of a bigger production halt, production cut that we are seeing in Ashok Leyland. For Bosch, it's 10 days during the entire span of Q3. That's October to December, as they continue to struggle to sort of maintain that balance between production and demand. 13,000 rupees, bank 13,000 rupees for Bosch India for now. Okay, moving on, Mr. Fidai, FMCG is that one pack that still relatively is a little bit resilient. Britannia, of course, has fallen quite a bit, but now it's trying to pick up steam. What's your view here, Mr. Fidai?
Well, I would like to buy this stock. Here also an add-on dip possibly. And the dip could be around 28.60. So there is some volatility in the market. You may get it around that area. Keep a tight stop loss below 28.20. And from the current level, I see it go up to 3,000 also, and much beyond that to 3,016 extreme short term.
All right, there you have it. That's, of course, Britannia for you at just around 29.50 rupees. And speaking of resilience, how can we not talk about the HDFC twins? In fact, the entire group for that matter. Varun, HDFC Bank, what's the latest here?
Hi, Mubina. So, Morgan Stanley has recently flagged off a little pre-Q2 teaser of HDFC Bank. Now, this is also from the HDFC Bank press release, so it has come from an official source. Now, loan growth has really picked up, coming in at 8%, which is a 7% jump QOQ, because last quarter it was around 1%. On a YOY basis, loan growth has also improved to 19.5% from the earlier 17%. Deposits have also accelerated strongly at around 7% QOQ improvement versus 3% last quarter. And the CASA growth has improved to 15% on a YOY basis. Now, just like we were talking about Bajaj Finance earlier, this is another name in banking that is untouchable, or at least so it seems, trading close to the 52-week high. Barely any CG issues, no real problems with NPAs. So it's a real contrast to everything else we've seen. And also in the private space, there were some really stellar names like IndusLand, Axis, RBL, which now all are also experiencing their own fair share of problems. So just to see HDFC stand completely aside and continue to outperform, I'd say is a very commendable feat.
All right, that's HDFC Bank for you. Okay, Varun, Vivek, what's the latest then when it comes to Indiabulls Housing Finance? The fall, of course, no doubt continues in this group.
Well, that's right. In fact, the fall continues unabated. So now what is actually happening as far as Indiabulls Housing is concerned is that after the filing of the PIL, the stock has seen a one-way fall. Now, the latest update after the court has actually gone ahead and admitted the PIL, a lot of the analysts on the street have now actually put their rating under review. They believe that until and unless, the hearing does come up in December, it makes sense not to touch the stock or makes sense to exit the stock. Have a look at, what exactly is the outcome of the PIL, and then they would take fresh positions here. So every day you're seeing selling continue unabated. Today, again, another 6% lower as far as Indiabulls Housing is concerned. In fact, if you're looking at this particular stock, it's seen a severe and sharp correction of almost 75% in just the last 1 year. So significant wealth being destructed as far as this particular name is concerned.
All right, that's IB Housing, and yes, no doubt, it's been a big wealth eroder. It's now no longer even a part of the Nifty. So beware of this entire group and all the controversies as well that follow. Glenmark, more negative news for pharma names from the USFDA, and this is a warning letter for the Buddy facility, one of the most important sites for Glenmark. In fact, 7% of the US business comes from this facility. So it's still a big fall that you are seeing in Glenmark, at 9% down for this stock at 286 rupees. Mr. Fidai, Bharti Airtel, you have a buy here as well. What's the rationale?
Basically, the stock is trading above its mean reversion area on monthly chart. It usually comes back, and trades in this area mostly. But right now, what we see is the stock has been, trending upwards since end of last quarter of 2018, and since then it has been trending upwards and making higher tops, higher bottom. It is trading in a channel. So basically, I would be very bullish on the stock because it is available at the bottom area of the channel. So we believe the stock has a potential to go all the way up to, you can say 320, 375, 360, 375, and above 385, it can do even 435. Can be bought between 320 up to 344, 335. Stop loss should be kept at 328, 325.
All right, that's a buy call then on Bharti Airtel from Mr. Fidai. 359 is what he's watching out for. And Varun, Ashok Leyland, we were talking about how Bosch is having no production days. Like I said, Ashok Leyland too joins the bandwagon.
Right, Mubina. So as you rightly flagged off, Ashok Leyland also joins the pack of a slowdown in auto, which we've been seeing compounded slowdown. They've now announced 2 15 non-working day periods in October. So that's extremely significant. It really shows the lack of demand and in general just the slowdown that's being witnessed across the auto sector. We'll watch closely to see when this finally gets revived.
All right. For now, of course, it's not showing any signs of revival. And remember, it's interesting that even during the so-called festive season, they're still indulging in these production cuts. Okay, and Vivek, M&M, meantime, again, on account of the production cuts, you are seeing lower output.
Well, absolutely right, Mubina. In fact, the weakness across the entire auto pack continues. In fact, today morning, Nomura came out with a note where they've gone ahead and slashed their estimates as far as the entire auto space is concerned. They believe that, despite the fact that you've seen tax cuts coming in, they don't think that demand is something that is going to revive quite soon. They also believe that as far as the entire expenditure or spending is concerned, they believe that this is going to remain muted for another couple of quarters. And, just to reiterate the fact, Mahindra & Mahindra again went ahead and saw the total production. It's come down quite significantly on a year-on-year basis, and no wonder you're seeing all of the auto stocks, including M&M, being battered in today's trading session.
Well, that it is, no doubt. And talking about more auto names, then Maruti has been downgraded by Nomura. Now, what exactly they're saying is that they're also cutting the target price, by the way, not significantly, but yes, it is a decent target price cut to 6,202 rupees. It's downgraded, by the way, to reduce from neutral, as they believe that the auto sector recovery will take longer, even with a 6% GDP estimate that Nomura does have. The lower industry volume growth for PVs, to 15% from -5 to -15% from -5%. So they believe that degrowth will only accelerate for FY20. Margins too, according to them, have a downside risk. So not exactly painting a very pretty picture for Maruti. Okay, but unfortunately with that, we'll have to call it a day on this edition of Market Fatafat. So Vivek, Varun and Mr. Fidai, thank you so much for joining us on Market Fatafat. We'll take forward the market action on NBFC.